Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Complex Phoenix podcast with your host, Phoenix Carey. The crowd goes wild. It's only episode, 2? That's okay. I need to hype myself up, be your own hype man, okay? Life is too short. In fact, you listening to this podcast right now, I want you to stop, drop, and hype it up, okay? All right, shake it, little money maker. Ow! Life is too short not to shake your butt, okay? Period, poo, okay? And that's on, I forget the rest of that, and I apologize. So anyway, hi, I am your host, Phoenix Carey, and I wanted to talk about today something very intriguing to me, which is rumination. If you guys are not aware, I was recently diagnosed with CPTSD and ADHD. So I'm making a podcast about it. Why not? Life has, she's come for me, okay? She has come for me. She's come for me hard. I don't know what I did in my past life, but I'm pretty sure I was Genghis Khan. Kong. Lord have mercy. Sometimes when I speak, I'm like, girl, you got a college degree. You sure? So anyway, enough putting myself down in derogatory jokes. Or not derogatory. Rumination. Let's talk about that. I hate this so much. I might cancel myself. No, we're going to do it. You know what? Through all the awkwardness. And that's what I love about this particular podcast is, yes, I am doing this podcast as an idea to build a community, a healing effect, to spread the notion of a complex phoenix and to hopefully allow other people to accept themselves and to love themselves and to be able to say to the world, I am worth it. Even though this happened to me, I am worth it. So anyway, if you guys don't know what a complex phoenix is, it's someone who had a complex childhood, was born in fire, and was reborn into a mythical phoenix, okay? Complex phoenix, get with it. It's a thing. Hashtag. Okay. So also, I do want to say really quick as a disclaimer, I am not a professional. I am not speaking as a professional. I am not giving any sort of advice as far as a professional opinion. This is my personal opinion. This is how I feel. This is not necessarily fact. So I offer you guys the opportunity to come to your own conclusions and to come to your own thoughts. So this is just my opinion, my personal opinion, and that's that. So there, that's that disclaimer. Just got to get it out of the way because you never know. But I want to talk about rumination. So I saw this TikTok video. Of course, it was a TikTok video, guys. This is probably what most of my podcast is going to be about. So anyway, on a Tuesday, I was on TikTok and now I'm going to make a podcast about it. So there was this video by the anti-narc. Look them up. I don't know. I'll try and link them. If you're on the social medias of it all, then please don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, share. Please, please, please blow this stuff up. You have no idea. I have complex PTSD. Do you have any idea what that means? My life has been hard. So please, please, please share, like, follow. Because, please. So anyway, I was watching this video about rumination and pretty much it really set me on a trajectory to self-examine my life and my perspective on a lot of things, because I realize when I feel wronged or I get upset or I feel hurt or anger or any of those emotions, my initial response is to suppress, because why would I share them? They're not going to go anywhere. Nobody cares. Because I've been programmed that way. And, my secondary reaction is to ruminate. I go over it in my head. over and over and over and over and over and over. I think about what you said. I think about what I said. I think about what I didn't say. I think about what your friend would say, what my friend would say. I think about your childhood. I think about your adulthood. I think about everything. And I just go over it over and over and over and over and over in my head. And it's extremely unhealthy. And I also, I've had people complain multiple times about it, because if you're my best friend, like if you're my go-to person, my daily go-to person, I am going to destroy your ear with whatever problem I am currently experiencing, because I don't have the ability to let it go. And obviously I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for a really long time, but you cannot fix 18 years of trauma overnight. So even though I am aware of it, it is still very difficult for me not to do. But I'm working on it, because I have had multiple people be like, shut up. And I'm like, but you don't understand. This person did this and this person did that. And they're like, well, do something about it. And I'm like, I can't do that. We're going to need to talk about it for another week before I can say something to them. And they're like, I can't listen to you complain about this same thing for another week. I need you to shut up. So like, listen, I get it. Okay. I get it. I'm sorry to the people that I have done it to. But my best friend recently was like, I need you to stop it. And he was like, it's not that I don't love you. He's like, I do. I love you, but I need you to stop it. So it's definitely something that I'm working on. In particular, I've noticed that my trigger tends to be nighttime. If it's late at night, that tends to be when my brain starts going haywire, and I start remembering things, and I start rethinking things, and I start mulling them over. Because for me, at least, the honest truth behind it, and the reason why I do it, is because I don't think that I have the right to be mad. I don't think I have the right to be angry, to be upset, to be hurt, to be frustrated. And I'm trying to find a way to forgive the person for what they did, because I can't accept the fact that someone did something to me that upset me, and they're not showing any remorse, and they are mad at me. So now I need to come up with a reason why they're right and I'm wrong. And I will say this is obviously extremely unhealthy and has landed me in several very unhealthy relationships, which is kind of why I'm single now, because I'm like, my track record for dating is awful. Like I meet someone, I fall in love, and I think they're great, and then I get to know the real them, and I'm like, so one of the people that I dated, actually, I don't know, I haven't thought of like fake names for people yet. We'll call her, why? I don't know. I was like, Kingdom Come? I don't know. We'll call her Person A for now. Does it really matter? So I dated Person A for a short while. It wasn't very long, but she actually said this as a compliment. And I remember I went and I told my therapist, and I was like, this was the worst thing I've ever had someone say to me. It was probably the most eye-opening thing someone has ever said to me. Because to be honest, she was very toxic, and towards the end, abusive, like verbally. What happened was, she said, my favorite thing about you is that you leave arguments and come back with reasons why you're sorry. And to some people that might seem like, oh yeah, that's fine, whatever, it's normal. But the truth is that I ruminate, and I go over it over and over and over and over and over again in my head until I come up with a reason why it's my fault. And what she pretty much was saying to me was that you do the hardest part of abusing you for me. Because as someone who is abusive, they don't want to actually have any sort of, what's the word? Like, they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be told what they did wrong. They don't want to think, because it's like, oh, you're just trying to make me seem like I'm the bad guy, or I made one mistake and you won't let it go, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard it, right? So, I mean, to be fair, I've said stuff like that too. So I don't think any of us are 100% innocent. I'm just saying that people who tend to be abusive will have their victim, and what they will do is they will leave, or even in the moment, because they've been doing it probably their whole lives, make it seem like the victim did something wrong. The victim has something to apologize for. Or that, oh, well, I only did this because of this trauma, or I only did this because of that trauma, and, I was triggered, and this is why I behaved this way, and blah, blah, blah. Not saying, and, I've even said this with my therapist has said this to me, not saying that not being triggered is not an authentic thing to hold space for. If someone is triggered, I've been triggered, and I've behaved poorly, I think being triggered is one thing, but using that as an excuse to dismiss their behavior and not be held accountable for that behavior, and to expect to just be like, my bad, and just move on with life, I think for me is what the problem is. So anyway, she was just saying how I pretty much came up with the excuses for her, so that she didn't have to come up with the excuses herself. And that was her favorite thing about me. And when I talked to my therapist about it, her favorite thing about me was my least favorite thing about me. And I think in that moment, I start to see the relationship for what it was, which was someone who wanted to be with someone who they could lash out at and then get an apology. So obviously I'm no longer in that particular relationship, but I think that is the dark side of rumination is that, if you do have a tendency to apologize and to mull things over in your head and to think of different scenarios, a lot of time you're doing the hard work for someone who is not there for you. I think for me, the people that I don't have to ruminate with are the people that treat me the best, are the people who are there for me, who care about me, who don't make me feel like I can't tell them what's wrong, that I can come to them and I can talk to them and I can explain to them, even if I'm not in the right or I'm not 100% being at my best or whatever, I can still come to them and just say, hey, this thing you did hurt, and I know you didn't mean to, and maybe if I were someone else, it wouldn't have, but it did, and I'm struggling with that. And I find that the people who have your back, who have, see you as someone who with high character, who want the relationship, tend to not make you feel like you have to go back to the drawing board. Whereas the people who honestly just want to use you, who are concerned with their own means and not yours, they're like, nope, go back to the drawing board, try again. You suck, figure out why you suck, and I'm amazing. And so as someone who has done the hard work for my abusers in the past, I don't want to do that anymore. How do you stop ruminating? I don't know. I'm not about solutions. I'm not about solutions here, my dear. I disassociate and watch musicals instead. I don't know. But I have been working on it. And I think the first step to that, at least according to my therapist, again, I'm going to say my therapist a lot. My therapist. According to my therapist, I have to write down my feelings and I have to process them myself first, which is like, what? I've been externally processing since I was like a baby. I don't know. So I have to journal and I have to process my feelings internally before I process my feelings externally, because we are working on validating myself, because I was invalidated as a child. I was told my feelings didn't matter, they were inconvenient, they were too much, and they made me unlovable. So now, as an adult, I have to... Did you guys hear the sass behind that? All sass intended. As an adult, like, I have to now process my fudging feelings. I really hope the audio is good. I don't know when I do that if it's a bad thing. This is like me just recording on my iPhone headphones. So, and my friend bought me this really fancy mic with a screen, and I couldn't get the mic to work, so I'm using the screen with my headphones. So, I'm fancy. Like Iggy Azalea. So, anyway, validate yourself. If there is something that has been going through your head and you've been ruminating over it, assuming your intentions are pure, validate yourself. Now, if you're unsure if your feelings are pure, baby, we got to do some work, okay? But assuming that you know your intentions are pure, I need you to validate yourself, babes, okay? I need you to take a second, breathe in, breathe out. Okay. And I need you to listen to me very, very, very carefully. You would not be feeling the feeling that you're feeling if it were not valid. Feelings are internal. They are something you feel. They are something you process. They are something that you have a direct relationship to, whether you know it or not. So, the fact that you're feeling that feeling makes that feeling valid. So take whatever that feeling is and you ask yourself, why? How come? When? Where? Who? How? All the questions, all the English questions. And you ask yourself those questions over and over and over and over and over and over. And I promise you, or at least I hope, at some point you're going to crack that feeling. And when you crack it wide open. Okay? Because you wouldn't have had that feeling if there wasn't a reason. Even if it's anger or resentment, feel that feeling. Now, acting on it is something different, okay? I'm not encouraging violence. But if you feel that feeling, I want you to process it. I want you to acknowledge it. And I want you to look that feeling in the eyes and go, who are you? What are you doing here? Why, hello. Sadness, I didn't invite you to this party. How come you're here? Okay? And you have a conversation with that fucking feeling. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we're allowed to have feelings. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Am I talking to myself or am I talking to my people? Are my people out there? If you are, don't forget to follow, like, but in all seriousness, follow, like, subscribe. Because, yeah, I want to do the damn thing, okay? I want to do the damn thing. And just so you guys know, by the way, I will be talking a lot about my life, but I am actually going to write a memoir and release it because I am a writer. So if you guys happen to be hearing this, Phoenix Carey is going to be a writer someday. Look out for my books. Look out for my memoir. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. To recap, if you happen to be someone who ruminates, take a second and talk to your feelings. And I don't know, we'll see how it goes next session. I think I'm funny. Do you guys think I'm funny? I don't know. External validation. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And if not, fuck them or fuck it. Whoever did it, fuck them. And I hope that your day will be better in the future. But until next time, I am Phoenix Carey on the Complex Phoenix podcast. I bid you adieu. Bye.